Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my F1 22 modded Myteam career mode. We have the Japanese Grand Prix today as we come into the closing stages of this championship. We have a quick department event to do real quick, and this one's about merchandise line. We're going to spend the cash and get the extra team acclaim. I'd like to be level 15 before the end of the season, or at the end of the season going into the next season. Other than that, we don't have a whole lot of time between Grand Prix, so we don't really have much admin to do other than saving us parts. All of us aero parts are going to be safe for next season. We have a couple of engine components to save, but other than that, we should be pretty safe with the upgrades we've got going into next season, and then we might even be able to purchase another couple of upgrades before the end if we're lucky, so that's pretty good. We do have another upgrade actually coming in for this race, a redistribution upgrade, so that should be quite nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to do. We can go straight into the race weekend here at Suzuka, one of my absolute favourite racing tracks. So yeah, high hopes for this one, although looking at the R&D progress, we do re-overtake Williams, but we're still a little bit behind the rest of the field, so I'm hoping my track knowledge will be able to pull us up the grid a little bit, hopefully. Maybe not so much in qualifying, I'm not sure how that's going to go. We'll just have to see. If you've been following this series, you'll know I'm not the strongest qualifier in the world, but speaking of qualifying, let's jump into it then. Here we are. I'm doing a couple of back-to-back laps, just what I like to do at the start of the session. As we come into T1, you can brake ridiculously late on this game into this corner, a little bit wide on the apex, so not ideal, but slam it down a gear, send it in, slam it down another gear, send it right. Be nice and gentle, easy to spin on that curb. So we bring it back down into fourth, again just taking a bit too much curb, unsettling the car, but we managed to keep it in one piece, keep it pointing forwards into the two Degners, then down into sixth. Don't take too much curb on there, otherwise it'll send the car off into the gravel. But we get around the two Degners alright into this tricky hairpin. You see in real life they take quite a wide line through that hairpin, so I try to do that, just go a bit wider the apex. You can see we're up quite a lot on the delta, so a pretty decent looking lap. Not too much ERS left, I don't quite have enough to do two back-to-back laps, but I completely mess up this section of the track, the spoon curve section. Don't quite get the line right, so we lost a lot of time there as we charge up into 130R, one of the most famous corners in racing, and you can take that flat in these cars, looking for that 100 metre board into the final chicane, and we get through there in one piece, lose a bit of time on entry, but gain it back on the exit, and it's a 133.4, and I actually felt pretty confident with that time, but as it turned out, it wasn't so good, so we do out-qualify his teammate by 8 thousandths of a second, but I'm just hoping my race pace will be back up there. But speaking of the race, without further ado, let's get into the Grand Prix.
We come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka Circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Sainz, Lando Norris and Perez, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Stroll and Lewis Hamilton. Mick Schumacher, Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda and Ricciardo, Albon, Evans, Kevin Magnussen and Esteban Ocon. Vettel, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Zhou, Sato and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
So a couple of grid penalties, that's put us up a couple of positions, which is always good. Just a simple one-stop strategy after the calamity we had in Abu Dhabi. Learnt my lesson, 5 red lights, go out and away we go then for the Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka. An amazing racetrack, not the best start in the world. That's pretty old news at this point, but we nip it up the inside of a couple of cars. A little cheeky move on Magnussen as well there in the Andretti Haas. Was side by side, we just about give him enough space to squeeze him out. We get brake checked a bit by Albon, but we're back up to P16 then where we started, and we can try and settle down on this first lap and yeah, see if we can just follow this train. A couple of the slower guys quite high up, so it should keep everyone bunched together, and we might even have an opportunity at scoring points as we make a very late move on Albon, who were very early on the brakes there, and we just saw the gap and went for it. So I wasn't planning on making that move, it just sort of came to us as we come round this hairpin. Then a little bit stuck behind Tsunoda, he's a bit slow mid-apex there, but we're up into P15 and we're using plenty of ERS down here. We can go chasing after that Jaguar, who we are fighting for position in the Constructors' Championship, remember, so we need to be beating these guys. I think Gasly is up in the points as it stands, and the Andretti Haas cars aren't far behind either, so we just need to be wary of that, and they're the kind of guys we need to be looking to get past in this race. But we get a big launch out of 130R. The AI are quite slow around that corner, I don't think they're taking it flat, but we get right up the rear wing of Tsunoda as kind of rival in this championship as we go side by side then, looking to make a move on the start finish straight into T1, and that's another move done for us, and we can go looking forwards now. We've got Bottas up ahead in the Audi Sauber, so we'll see if we can make a move on him. A big wash of understeer though through this kind of S's section, but yeah, we keep it still in one piece, keep it pointed in a straight line, most important thing. And yeah, we're up into P14, making some good progress, and a strong couple of laps for us, and we can go continuing chasing after Bottas. Like I say, there's a couple of slower cars ahead. I think there's an Andretti Haas and a Toyota up ahead. We go to make the move on Bottas, but it gives us no room to work with at all. Completely squeezes us into the corner there. We get a little bit of mild front wing damage. I don't think it's going to affect us too much, but that was very rude from Bottas. All the battles we've had with him so far this season have been pretty clean, so yeah, that's the first sign of Bottas being a bit of a naughty boy. But anyway, we charge back after him down this kind of back straight on the run up into 130R. We're going to see if we can make the move in a little bit wide there, but we get the better exit, and we're just going to absolutely send it up the inside. A bit of a lock-up on the rear tyres, I think, there, and his side by side, he gets alongside us then. I think he's got a bit of front wing damage there as well, as it's a bit of a drag race then on the charge down this start finish straight into T1, but he backs out of it early, and we're going to take the position then up into P13. Things looking good for us so far. Lap 3, and we're made up 3 positions as we're going to lap 4 now, and we've got Hamilton and Ricciardo up ahead. It looks like Ricciardo has a bit of a moment there, and we have to slam on the brakes to try and avoid him, but Ricciardo looking really slow in that McLaren, so I'm not sure if he has some kind of mechanical issue, but yeah, he's just not on the pace at all. And as we skip forward once again on this back straight into 130R, very slow around, so I don't know if he's got some damage or something. He's just really slow as we just go around the outside of the chicane, and we managed to get Ricciardo, but he's going to come back at us, just kind of squeeze him to the outside, leave just about a car's width to him, defending this quite aggressively. I didn't think we'd be fighting one of the McLarens, but it just looks so slow, so I'm not sure what happened to Ricciardo, but that's another position for us then on lap 5. And so we skip forward onto lap 6. We've got Hamilton now. He's been held up by these the Jaguar and the Andretti Haas, and we're looking up the inside, but he swings across. We're back out of it. That could have ended in tears, but we're going to try and thread it round the outside, and we've made a move on the Mercedes monster car. Now that car's right at the top of the performance comparison, so it was just getting held up in the traffic, and that's kind of what you have to do. You have to make the most of those opportunities. But as we come round Spoon, you can see there he's got such a good run out of it, and we're going to deploy so much ERS all the way down this straight. We've got a bit of slipstream to help us out, and it looks like Hamilton doesn't quite have the legs down the straight, and once again the AI really slow through there, and we're going to maybe make a move on Gasly as we switch from the outside to the inside. A bit of a late lunge, squeeze him into the apex a little bit there, and yeah, up into the points now. So really good progress on this first stint, despite having that minor front wing damage. And on lap 7 we're chasing down Schumacher, and once again really slow around 130R, maybe looking to make a move up the inside at the chicane, and it seems to be a bit of a hot spot for overtaking here, and we can now go chasing after the Toyota of Lance Stroll on lap 8 as we cross the start finish line. Skipping forward another lap onto lap 9, we're right on Stroll's tail now, and we're going to see if we can chase him down this kind of, it's not exactly a straight, is it? There's a lot of kind of right hand kinks, but we're going to look up the inside into Spoon. Don't quite have enough of his car on the inside to make a move there, but we're going to follow him round, and yeah, we're going to deploy again ERS. We're in the slipstream. Alonso's not far up the road either. He does have a mechanical issue, but look at this, we're going to go up the inside of 130R. And speaking of Alonso, that was a very Alonso-esque move, giving me 2005 vibes there. As yeah, we make an overtake at 130R. As we come on to lap 12 then, skipping forward a couple of laps, it looks like some of the guys are going to make their pit stops. There's Alonso, he comes in for his pit stop. We're going to go out for one more lap, and we'll see where we end up coming out. So we skip forward onto lap 14, and we're coming for our pit stop. Just the one stop onto the hard tyres. We've got Schumacher close behind, and it's bad news as yeah, we have a slow pit stop. So 5 seconds pit stop time there. We did lose a position to Schumacher, and now we've got Stroll all over the back of us again, and he pit the lap before, so his tyres are going to be warmed up a bit. But we managed just about to keep him behind, and we can go chasing back after Schumacher. It takes us a couple of laps, 4 laps to be precise, on lap 18, and it's the same place once again. 130R, we keep us foot down, flat out all the way around onto the outside of the chicane this time. Late on the brakes, we go side by side. Z hops over the curb a little bit. We just squeeze him out and get the move done then, up into P8. And that's very important, because remember, we're fighting the likes of Haas and Jaguar for constructors' points, so it's very important we get these points while we can. He's going to try come back at us, but we have the inside line. He backs out of the corner early, and that's us up into P8 then. And yeah, that's pretty much where we stayed. We've got Charles Leclerc leading the race, then it's George Russell and Verstappen behind him, the 3 guys who are looking to potentially win this championship. Then you've got Perez and Norris, and you've got Sainz not far behind him, so we might see Sainz making a move, and then Alonso in P7 then, but Lewis Hamilton, he's in P11 out of the points, but he's going to look to change that on lap 21 as he comes into T1. He's got Stroll in front of him in that Toyota, and Stroll's just going to go a little bit wide. Hamilton nips it up the inside, so that's Hamilton rescuing at least a point in this race, but it's not going to be quite done there as we go on board with him on the very next lap then, and he's got Schumacher in front of him. Schumacher locks up, and once again Hamilton nips it up the inside on T1, so he's up to P9 then on lap 25. He's 4.5 seconds behind us, but with only 2 laps to go, there's just not going to be enough time for him to close that gap and make a move on us, so we can cruise it home and bring it home for P8, which is very important. And Hamilton overtaking Schumacher as well. He steals another point from him, so yeah, very, very good race for us there. We made up about, I think, 8 positions or something like that, so more than happy with that. One of my favourite tracks. I had high hopes for this race, and I think we've definitely delivered there, so good news for us in the championship.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So it's Charles Leclerc who wins the race. He's going to close the gap to Verstappen, who did finish P3 in the end. Russell up on the podium as well. And I'm very interested to see what this Drivers' Championship looks like after that race, because I think it's going to be close going into these last 2 races of the season. We'll take a look at that just after these podium celebrations. But for us, very good race, good points gained over his rivals, and we'll be looking to secure P6 in the Constructors. But here we go then, we can take a look at the standings. And yeah, Verstappen leads only by 9 points now, and then you've got Russell and Perez with an outside chance of even winning the championship. So 4 potential drivers could win going into this these last couple of races. For us, I think we've pretty much secured P11. Obviously Tsunoda is a good 9 points behind us now, so he's going to have to do a lot of work in these last couple of races if he wants to get that P11 slot. For us in the Constructors, Ferrari actually overtake Mercedes there, so that's going to be interesting. But for us, we're 4 points clear of Andretti Haas, and yeah, they're 2 points clear of Jaguar, so it's looking good. But we still have 2 races to go, remember, and yeah, anything can happen. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, hit like, hit subscribe, I'd very much appreciate that, and I'll see you all in the next one.